So I wanted to provide an update on the Qmerit install which did occur this past Friday. And they did run a 125 amp sub panel out to the garage. They installed a 2-pole 60 amp breaker to allow for a 48 amp hardwired charger, which I did have installed. Where the power cable enters the garage, it is required by code to have it in conduit, which they did do. And the wire going to the charger is a metal jacketed 6-3 wire that will allow for the use of a hard wired 48 amp charger. As you can see, the wire comes over to where my previously installed Clipper Creek was. We did take that down and put up this 48 amp Emporia charger, which I did get off of Amazon. I kind of bought it on a whim because it was $3.99 before any tax credits. And in talking with the installers, they said it's actually a good charger. They've had good luck with them. So I'm taking a chance with it because I wanted to have the ability to charge this car as quickly as possible in the with that 48 amp charger. The 16 amp Clipper Creek is here. It will either be sold or put at a friend's house or someone's house to have another charger. I'm going to pause the video here for a moment because I do want to go show you the surge suppressor that they did put on the whole house, and then I'll come back out here in a moment. So we're down in my basement. This is the whole house surge suppressor that they did install. It is ran to where did they put it? Right here. It's a 2-pole 30 amp breakers, which they installed it on. This should provide surge protection for the whole house. The sub panel itself, as I was mentioning before, is actually on a 125 amp 2-pole breaker. And the wiring, as they ran it, they actually ran this wire up and out the main panel. And they did run it very cleanly. I have since painted it black because in this part of my basement it is already black. And they did use metal screw-in connectors to hold this wire in place, which is a very, very clean look. And this did follow through my entire basement. It was snuck around the rafters, and then it went down the side of my house for probably another 30-40 feet back out to the garage, which is where I'm going to walk back out to and talk about the charger. Okay, so I'm back out in the garage here. I know I was going to mention the charger, but before I do that, I did want to go over the total cost of the Qmerit install. The GM did cover $1,100 of this install. My portion is $1,800, but they had to run over 50 feet of wire to that 125 amp sub panel and another 30 plus feet to the overhead charger, which I'm going to show you here. In that price, it did include that whole house surge suppressor, which I think is a pretty reasonable deal because there were 4 people here for 4 hours installing this, so I think that's pretty good considering the cost of time. So what I did want to show you on this Emporia charger is it is very, I don't know, I like the features of it so far, as it does provide some pretty nice real-time usage of the charger and what it's drawing. So the charger, as I said, is mounted overhead right here. I'm gonna plug it into the car so you can see how it's showing us the data and the wattage that it's drawing as it plugs in and turns on. But one of the nice features about this is it will tally and keep track of what is being used month by month and the peak draw. As we can see, the kilowatts being, or the watts being drawn is ramping up as we speak. This tends to peak right around 11,000 watts. I have noticed as it gets over that 80-85% mark, this does tend to cap out in the lower tens. But we are, I don't know, probably around a 60% charge right now. Oops, my phone just clicked off and I apologize for that. There we go. But as we can see, it's right around that 11,000 watt mark. which is, quite a bit faster than the standard 32 amp charger, which is good for about 7,200 watts, which means if I have this car at 0, I can get it back to 100% in 6.5, 7 hours instead of 8 or 9 hours. But so far I am impressed with this. One of the things I did see when I was looking and playing around their app is they do have an energy meter, which you can put on your main panel and look at all the different draws on your house. I actually have ordered this to see what this is like, because it wasn't terribly priced. Yeah, it was right here. It's $124 to have the whole monitor and then 8 sensors, which would get most of my main circuits in this house. So I'm gonna give that a try, and we'll be providing an update on that. But that is my update for this Qmerit install. I hope you've enjoyed.